Hello, and welcome to Sugar-Free Speech, where I will be exposing the greed, fraud, and lies in the public eye. My name is Lenny, and I'm so excited that you guys are here. This is my first video, and hopefully the first of many. I'm focused on Meghan Markle. She's a handful all on her own, isn't she? But I'd like to eventually cover more than just this one topic, so I hope that you'll stay tuned. But today, we are going to be discussing Meghan Markle, the Archewell Foundation, and Instagram. So let's get into it. I don't know, I haven't heard of anybody else talking about this because I don't think anyone else caught it. I was doing a little internet sleuthing and decided to peruse the biggest pro-Meghan Instagram account that I've seen at least, which many speculate may actually be run by Meghan's team or maybe even Meghan herself. I can't see Meghan putting in that much consistent work, but then again, she did do the TIG, so of all the things that she could do, surely she could do this. If you guys have better intel on that situation, please let me know because I'm truly not sure. But what I do know is that it is Meghan propaganda at its finest. So I had just gone to the @HRH of Sussex page, poking around, decided to start looking through some of who she follows. And no more than 4 or 5 accounts past our mutuals on the following list, I see at the Archewell Foundation. And I was like, I don't remember ever hearing about Archewell launching an Instagram page. So I went to the page and sure enough, and the timing of this was not super crazy just because they did just announce the WME representation for both Meghan and Archewell. So I wasn't super surprised, but it was surprising to me that I was not in search of anything in particular when I found this. It was just a matter of at the right place at the right time. So let me give you some dates because that will kind of come into play at least a little bit. May 2nd, I discovered the account and I recorded everything in the account either that same day or the day after, no later than that. Well, then I got busy and I wasn't able to find the time to edit until May 9th when I was working on the video and I needed to go back to the page and it was gone. No longer there. I searched the name, I couldn't find it, nothing. I went back to her following list to make sure I wasn't typing the wrong name in. Nope, can't find it anywhere on Instagram. Well, I remember that they had been tagged in some posts, so I went to that account, and sure enough, I found the tagged posts, and I tried to follow it to the Archewell page, not expecting that it's gonna be up, but I just needed to double check. So I'm obviously hit with the page you're looking for is not available. I mean, instantly, I was so grateful that I had decided to go ahead and immediately record everything in there because Meghan is just so slippery that I always try to move swiftly. But it was a good thing because that day, May 9th, it was already gone. And we'll get into some theories on why that might be, but first, I'm going to give you a rundown of the account, all of the details, and then also get into some of the things they posted and a little bit of background about each thing. So we don't forget that most of them don't have the shiny, positive, selfless story that Meghan would like to portray to the rest of the world. But okay, here is what I very first saw. You can see the new account badge on the profile picture. We have Archewell, nonprofit organization, and the bio reads, Archewell is the organization founded by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Nothing all too interesting here. There is a link tree, and I did take a look. It's really nothing. The only thing that the link tree really includes is the link to this now deactivated Instagram account. So further proof that I am not crazy, this did exist. And then, so you see the Spotify icon next to the Instagram icon right at the top. And that opens up a new page that'll take you to spotify.com. And obviously it'll be on the archetypes landing page. But then they also include like 2 more links because then you see archetypes at the bottom and that opens up like a pop-up with the episodes you can listen to. And then you open up Archewell Audio and it's those 2 trailers that they did for podcasting, including the holiday special, which was pointless because Harry never did anything again with a podcast.
That's a great vibe.
But getting back to it, the top link is obviously to Archewell. The next one is Harry's books website. And then the last link on here is to Netflix.com where it takes you to the Harry and Meghan page. And it starts you off with a trailer. How kind.
Aww.
But okay, so that is the link tree. getting back to the actual Instagram page, you see there are 5 highlights and then there are 6 posts. So first we're going to go through the posts and then we'll go through the highlights and then we'll go through the following list. Then we'll go through the tagged photos that I mentioned earlier. Okay, zipping over to post number 1. Now, this is a carousel with 10 photos. We're going to go through each one of them. But before we do, I just want to point out a couple of things. First thing, this post, as well as the first 5 posts and 4 of the highlights, were posted on April 22nd, which is the day that this account went active. But I also want to read you this caption because it is hilarious. Maybe you're already skimming it and you're way ahead of me, but okay, let's do it. I am my mother's son, and I am our son's mother. Together we bring you Archewell. We believe in the best of humanity because we have seen the best of humanity. We have experienced compassion and kindness from our mothers and strangers alike. In the face of fear, struggle, and pain, it can be easy to lose sight of this. Together, we can choose courage, healing, and connection. Together, we can choose to put compassion in action. We invite you to join us as we work to build a better world, one act of compassion at a time. Harry and Meghan. Okay, couple things. Why no shout out to the dads? I mean, why? Truly, what is it with mothers? Does Archewell benefit mothers specifically? I'm tripped up on my words because she doesn't. Let me say it like this. Meghan is so hyper-focused on her own selfish goals and motivations that she doesn't realize how weird it makes her sound. And not just weird, how little sense it makes. And I don't know, I know I said earlier that WME was probably the one putting up this account, but you know how Meghan is about control. So if they allow it whatsoever, which I feel like they have to because she's the client, then she's going to have her hands all over this. I just can't imagine WME coming up with this on their own because Archewell is not a foundation that specifically is geared towards mothers. And you could say, I guess, that it's getting close to the American Mother's Day, but there was a blind item about Meghan doing some weird things and saying some offensive things while recording some podcasts focused on Mother's Day. So maybe this was her thinking she was gearing up or laying the groundwork for the new things that she'll have coming out. I don't know. But just from the outside, with no other context, I don't know why they're so fixated on mothers. But we know why that is. Number 1, I am my mother's son. She is obsessed with Harry being Diana's son, so she will never miss an opportunity to point that out. And then, I am our son's mother. And so it's pretty transparent if you know Meghan at all. You know her scheming and her insecurities. But what a weird juxtaposition to make between you and your husband, your grown adult husband. Just infantilizing him while making you mommy, which I know she likes to be mommy. She's mommy Meghan to him. So again, if you have the context of Meghan, it makes sense, but it's gross from the outside. It's so gross. But okay, I'll drop it. We'll move on. The only other thing I really have to point out with this caption, because it's just mindless word salad otherwise, is the compassion in action line. Get ready to hear that a lot. Okay, so picture 1, that's just the Archewell logo. So let's go to picture 2 of post number 1. So this photo of them gardening with children is from September of 2020 when Harry and Meghan went to one of the local LA preschools for disadvantaged children and they planted forget-me-nots to mark the anniversary of Diana's death. So they used these kids as a backdrop for them to hype up the fact that Harry is Diana's son, which he is her son, and it would make sense for him to mark the anniversary. But the caption that the Assistants League of Los Angeles posted about them coming to visit this preschool made sure to squeeze in a line that says, in addition to helping the school children replant the preschool learning center's garden, they spent time with them sharing their appreciation for nature and helping to instill the importance of healthy eating. This was when Meghan was being embarrassingly heavy-handed with the Michelle Obama cosplay. So clearly she had to mention the importance of healthy eating with school children. And for those who may not be aware, in 2010, Michelle Obama started the Let's Move initiative, which is focused on reducing childhood obesity and encouraging healthy eating. And in 2012, there was actually a U.S. policy that raised the nutrition standards in school lunches. And I mean, it was the First Lady, so pretty much everybody had heard about this. So you see why I mentioned it. But okay, let's keep moving right along and go to picture 3 of post number 1. This photo was from July of 2021. It was at the Sunken Gardens in Kensington Palace when Prince William and Harry unveiled the statue honoring Diana on what would have been her 60th birthday. This was about 4 months after the Oprah interview, and it was the first time the brothers had seen each other since Prince Philip's funeral. So clearly, all of these fake rift-mending puff pieces were an attempt to distract from the fallout from the Oprah interview. But okay, so moving to picture number 4. This one is from their Time 100 virtual talk in October 2020. Now, this was before the big dogs caught a whiff of who Meghan Markle is or isn't. She hadn't yet fully revealed to the world that she was a scheming, underperforming, embarrassing tryhard with dollar signs for eyes and an empty echo in her head. Hello? So her connections were still hard at work using their contacts to get these two into positions they were highly underqualified for. Let me give you a list of the other people involved in these Time 100 virtual talks. 1, Angelina Jolie. Not because there's a connection. I doubt that Angelina would want anything to do with Meghan at any given point. But you know, if Meghan heard that she was involved and she could do anything about it, she would find a way to get involved as well because she's desperate to be seen connected to that woman in any way. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt if Angelina Jolie was also on Meghan's vision board. Just saying. Next on that list, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Now, I don't know of any direct connection between Fauci and Meghan. I'm just mentioning it because Meghan was trying to use the pandemic as a means to gain notoriety because the bar was so low in terms of activism during that time, lower than usual, even for Hollywood. So that's all I'm saying on that one. Next, Serena Williams' husband and Reddit co-founder, Alexis Ohanian. But one more to tie it all together. That would be Dr. Safia Noble, the co-director of the UCLA Center for Critical Internet Inquiry, where she co-leads an initiative on tech and power. She even wrote a book called Algorithms of Oppression: How Search Engines Reinforce Racism. And if that sounds familiar, it is, because if you listened to Archetypes, 1, I'm sorry. 2, it was mentioned in the episode about angry Black women. And the way she played it, if I recall correctly, was like, a friend gave me this book.
My husband and I went to have a socially distanced dinner with another couple. We followed all the rules and we met friends at a distance. The wife handed me a book, the title of which, by the way, is Algorithms of Oppression by Internet Studies scholar Safia Noble.
I mean, come on. But all right, you see, it's all connected to Harry and Meghan's mission to fight misinformation about them and make the internet a safer place for them. And if you didn't catch it right away, but you thought she looked familiar, not just the book name, but you thought she herself looked familiar, she is. We heard plenty from her in Harry and Meghan's Megflex series. Oh, and if you're aware of the goings-on with the Aspen Institute and Harry and Meghan, this woman is neck deep in that too. She was actually selected to Aspen Institute's Commission on Information Disorder in April of 2021. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today, but maybe I will in a later video. Let me know if you're interested. But okay, we're going to keep it moving to picture 5 of post number 1. This one's a more recent one. This is from International Women's Day this year, when Meghan did her infamous pap walk the day she ate at Gracias Madre with the Archewell crew, and Harry sent the vegan donuts or cupcakes, I think it was, to their table. And she had a little photo op with Harvest Home because she chose to spend a short amount of time working on a cause that she thought would make her look the most saintly. So, pretty embarrassing for Meghan to think it is at all appropriate to show up in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of clothing and jewelry. Wow. I mean, she wore her typical wrist full of wealth signaling jewelry, including her gold Cartier pieces, multiple diamond tennis bracelets, a $6,000 cashmere coat, and a $6,400 Chanel bag. Yeah. Moving on to picture number 6. Ah, yes, the ridiculous RFK Ripple of Hope Award that she bought and that Kerry Kennedy was all too happy to sell. Those three must have had itchy backs because they did plenty of scratching, it appears. Moving on, picture 7. This one was in September of 2022. So this was when Harry met with the gifted young Gravisham, and he went there to share personal stories about how social media affects their mood, well-being, and family life. Another thing to note about GYG is that it's a partner of the Five Rights Foundation, which is an Archewell ally focused on improving online safety for young people everywhere. Yeah. But now let's move on to picture 8. So this is another one from September of 2022. This was when Harry and Meghan opened the One Young World Manchester Summit. So this was on September 5th, and the Queen passed away 3 days later on September 8th. They did a series of these engagements leading up to that. That was what they were doing instead of spending time with Harry's dying beloved grandmother. Enough said. Now, picture 9. This is from October of 2022 when Meghan spoke at the Women at Spotify event in LA. This was alongside Mandana Dayani, which was Archewell's president at the time, before she quit, right before the ridiculous Megflex series dropped. But okay, moving to picture 10. So this one is from one day after the One Young World Summit. They were in Dusseldorf for the Invictus Games 1 Year to Go event. So it was September 6th of 2022, so just 2 days before the Queen passed. All right, so now we're going to move on to post number 2. So we have the caption, and it reads, "Welcome to Archewell. Through our nonprofit work as well as creative activations, we drive systemic cultural change across all communities, one act of compassion at a time." So for the photo, this woman chose a name meaning source of action and plentiful source or supply, a place we go to dig deep. And the reason I find that hilarious is because she is the source of all of her problems. She takes very little action. She is constantly in search of plentiful narcissistic supply, and she's about as deep as a bird bath. But then, of course, we have a shout out for their commercial for-profit endeavors, Archewell Productions and Archewell Audio, on their nonprofit page. All right, moving on to picture number 2 of post number 2. This is something straight from the Archewell impact statement, so I'm not going to read it for you guys, but feel free to pause and read if you're interested. Picture 3, compassion in action again, baby. Here are some of the organizations that Archewell supposedly gives grants to. And we're going to lump together picture 4 and 5 because I just want to quickly say these are just slides with Archewell Productions and Archewell Audio defined, but I'm going to address the definitions when we see them again in the highlights that they posted because it's identical. Just spreading that content then because there's just not much there, is there? Hello? Post number 3. This was their one and only reel. This first part, the foundation section, does not have any sound, and it's basically just an extended version of the first post that they made with the 10 photos. And I mean, the whole reel, it doesn't consist of anything new or interesting, except the fact that they took the opportunity, another opportunity, to promote their commercial for-profit endeavors on their nonprofit profile. I was watching this, and right when I thought it was over, at the end of the foundation section, it kept going. And it went right from their charitable highlights to their Archewell Productions promo, which shows nothing but the same tired Netflix trailer for a series that was not charitable to anyone but themselves. They certainly do love indulging in some self-charity, don't they? But then from there, it went straight to their Archewell Audio promo showing, again, the same tired trailer for the Archetypes podcast. But okay, moving to post number 4. So here we have a photo promoting the African Parks Network. And Harry has been president of the African Parks since 2017. So this was something afforded to him while still working as a senior royal. I can't talk. But you could say that if it wasn't for the fact that he was royal, that he would never have been put in this position. From what I can tell, after Harry left the royal family, he hasn't done too much with this organization of which he is president. But all right, let's move on to post number 5. Almost done with the posts. We have here a post about Archewell's support of the LA waterkeeper to clean up the LA River. This was a 4-paragraph caption, of which the first 3 were just giving us background on Earth Day, something that has existed for decades, so it tells us. And the last one sums up what they contributed to this partnership in one sentence. The photo is the same one you'll see them use in their highlight in the second picture with a group of people working on this. Something stood out to me. Does anything stand out to you? Yeah, they're not there. They're not there. And if they were there, they'd be in this picture because they love a photo op. So I guess they really meant it when they said they only work 1 hour a week on Archewell. All right, our last post. Now, this post was the only one not made on April 22nd. This was April 27th, the day WME announced this. It's the exact same one that's on their account. So since we already went over that, we'll just go ahead and move on to the highlights. All right, highlight number 1. This was the only highlight that was not on April 22nd, and it appears that it was within a couple days before I took this video. So, it would have been either April 31st or May 1st. This is about the African Parks Organization putting together a team of park rangers that went and ran the London Marathon in April to raise awareness for conservation. And from what I can see, this has absolutely nothing to do with Archewell other than Harry's connection, because I see no indication that Archewell did anything to support them on this. If they had, say, paid for their entry fees or travel arrangements or anything like that, we would have definitely heard about it. I mean, Meghan was proud of $25 Starbucks gift cards. So moving on to highlight 2, it's literally just their Earth Day post, like one of the paragraphs out of the caption. It has no substance whatsoever, just there. All right, so highlight 3. These last 3 highlights are kind of the same thing as what we saw in post number 2 of the Archewell definitions. This one is just that impact statement. Do you think Meghan thinks it's sustainable? She's being sustainable and eco-friendly, recycling her content and her words. All right, highlight 4. Now this is the Archewell Productions defined. Archewell Productions was created by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to produce programming that informs, elevates, and inspires. Through its creative partnership with Netflix, the world's leading streaming entertainment service with more than 221 million members, Archewell Productions utilizes the power of storytelling to embrace our shared humanity and duty to truth through a compassionate lens. There you go. They clearly think that their Megflex series was charitable, because even though they did Live to Lead, and that would be easier to sell as charitable, even though it was pointless and derivative, a recurring theme with Meghan Markle. No, the section about Archewell Productions in the reel, they only showed the Netflix trailer. Why would that be? Why would Meghan take this opportunity to big up her perceived connection to Nelson Mandela again? Well, probably because Live to Lead was a massive flop. And that's embarrassing for her, and it should be. So, the last highlight. Now this is Archewell Audio defined. Archewell Audio is the newly formed audio-first production company started by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Archewell Audio will produce programming that uplifts and entertains audiences around the world. Under an exclusive partnership, Archewell Audio will join Spotify and their global reach, 180 million premium subscribers and 406 million monthly active users around the world, to spotlight diverse perspectives and voices. As part of the partnership, the Duke and Duchess through Archewell Audio produce podcasts and shows that build community through shared experiences, powerful narratives, and universal values. So, more word salad and self-righteous language, regardless of how true these claims are, because archetypes, again, was derivative and pointless. And you've done nothing else. They've done nothing else. Ugh, gosh, which I know I said that now there's gonna be something else, but nothing yet, and they've been saying this for however long. So, yeah, they think they're changing the world with one shitty podcast at a time. One self-serving, lowbrow, validation-seeking, celebrity schmoozing podcast at a time.
Boom. Roasted.
But all right, now let's move on to the following list. That's the last thing that we will do on the actual Archewell Instagram page itself. And we're just going to take a quick glance because some of it's a little self-explanatory. It's, the organizations that they supposedly or think that they support. But there are a few that stand out that I want to take the time to highlight. Number 1, Sussex Royal, naturally. Number 2, Spotify podcasts and Netflix, naturally. Then we have Oprah, obviously. And then the UCLA, shout outs Shafia Noble. WME, obviously. Then we have Spotify's main account. And then we have Penguin Random House, SmartWorks, Centibale, NAACP, RFK, One Young World. But there's one more that I want to highlight that is the funniest one of them all to me. Procter and Gamble. I lost it when I saw this on the list. Like, girl, if I were you, I would be distancing myself as much as possible from this because it's embarrassing for you. Whatever. All right, whatever. We have to move on. No more free advice for Meghan Markle. Okay, so now we will move on to those tagged posts. So let's pull up that account. It is called Publishers Weekly. And I, full disclosure, don't know anything about this account, but I'm going to guess that WME called them and was like, hey, we'll give you guys monies if you will help Meggie get some followers. Hit the ground running, if you will.
For me, it's very important to, once you hit the ground running, even if you're doing it quietly behind the scenes.
But let's get into the posts, and we're going to go in chronological order. So this first one was on April 22nd.
Sounds familiar.
Their post says Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to launch a new Instagram account for the Archewell Foundation. And then I want to read you guys the comments. Is at Publishers Weekly being paid to post about their every sneeze? This is getting absurd. I am tired of these two. Who cares? In all caps, my thoughts exactly. Then the last one, laughing, crying faces, narcissist plus spineless.
Embarrassing.
And that brings us to the next post that they made about them. This was on April 26th, so one day before the WME announcement. Caption says, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle at the Archewell Foundation enjoyed an all-American date night in LA at the Lakers game. Then we have, wow, since when is Publishers Weekly TMZ? So H&M are using money from their children's charity to buy box seats at a Lakers game? Thought they wanted privacy. What is up with Publishers Weekly's Harry and Meghan obsession? I come here for industry news, not celebrity gossip. So let's move to the next. It's that photo that WME had spread far and wide with the caption, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex at the Archewell Foundation, signs with WME. Oh, and this was April 28th, so one day after the WME announcement. So, nothing interesting, but let's read the comments. Gross. Vomit face. The best comment of them all. The wrestling thing? Oh, I'd watch that.
Shut up, bitch!
5 laughing crying faces. How does that Archewell account only have 182 followers? You sure that's real? No one cares. So, now let's discuss deactivation theories. Why do we think that they would have taken it down? Let me tell you what my theory is. I would bet that Meghan got cold feet right when WME was trying to ramp up exposure. She probably didn't have as much control as she would have liked, which is full control, by the way. I think she got on comfy. I wonder if she saw those comments on Publishers Weekly.
Shut up, bitch!
Who knows, but this weirdo can't seem to commit to anything, can she? Obviously, I have no clue if this is the real reason why it came down. And for all I know, the page will pop right back up after some quick maintenance. I don't know. The username is still unavailable, which I know if it was deleted, the name probably wouldn't be released immediately, but I'm going to bet on deactivation, and I'm going to assume that it's at least WME's plan that the account will be reactivated when it's ready, whatever that means.
You're right. I'm a perfectionist.
So we'll just have to wait and see if Meghan ends up stalling enough that the account never sees the light of day again before she crashes and burns after being undeniably exposed as the grifting narcissist that she is.
What does the work entail? What do you do?
Yeah, so last February, actually, I went to Rwanda, which was incredible because Rwanda has the highest percentage of female political participants of any other country in the world. So 64% of their government is female.
What do you do? What do you mean?
That day just can't come soon enough, can it? So, I know it got deleted, so obviously I thought this was going to be something ongoing. But now that you know about Archewell's short-lived Instagram page, what do you think? Did anyone else catch this while it was active?
Are there others?
Are there others like me? But truly, I am curious because I haven't heard anyone mention it. And the whole reason I caught it was just pure happenstance, just luck. But just to start wrapping some things up, comment below and tell me what you thought about the video and if you found it as interesting as I did, or if you're just like, meh. And then if you would be so kind to like if you liked it, share, and subscribe, I would truly be so grateful. Oh, and definitely click the notification bell because I've got even juicier content coming soon. If you follow me on social media, you might have seen me saying that something is coming for a while now, but I really think it's going to be worth it. I know that what I discovered has been inadvertently very revealing for me and may have even confirmed some of what we Megxit truthers have been asking and discussing for a very long time.
And that was really such an aha moment, a TIG moment for me.
So hopefully you'll have your own aha TIG moments when those videos start coming down the pike. And there are plenty coming, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys think when that time comes. But that's all I've got for now, so until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you well. Talk to you soon. Bye.